Hello everyone, I hope this is going to be a short, sweet video because it's pretty cold outside and that's where I am to make it in a quiet location. Today we are going to be writing verbal phrases from expressions. In other words, we're taking this symbolic and writing it into the written form. So the opposite of what we've been doing the last couple days. What I would like you to do is pause the video. So for real, pause the video. And I want you to brainstorm. Look back at notes, look back at anything, and try to come up with as many words as you can that would mean addition and subtraction, multiplication, etc. So that way when you get to having to write those phrases, you have a list of words in which to choose from. Pause and come back. Alright, how well did you do? I came up with sum, add, more than, total, altogether, in all, increased by, and plus for addition. And I'm not going to read through all of these. I'm not going to take the time to do it, but what I'd like you to do is pause, and any that you don't have down, could you add it to your list? Maybe in a different color so I know how many you've come up with and how many you are using of mine. Alright. So when we're writing expressions, there are many different ways that would be correct to write the same thing using those different words. So meaning writing the verbal that means the same thing as a different verbal, and it's correct. But there are also many ways you could write it that would be wrong. For example, if I wrote this A less than B, that would be incorrect because remember with less than you have to switch the order. So that one would not be correct. But we could say B less than A. Or we could use some of the other ones. The difference of A and B. So try to think of different ways that you can write the same thing. So let's do another one. This one, we have to remember that this is happening, but it's the sum. So the sum of the product of 4 and F and P. But that is very, very wordy to me. So while it would technically be correct, I would think you might want to do something like the product of 4 and F plus, comma, plus P. And the reason I'm going to put the comma in there is I don't want someone to think that it's the product of 4 and F plus P. So the plus P comes after. So I'm going to write that comma in there. Or I could have written 4 times F increased by P, as long as I had that comma in there. All right. Can you please pause and see if you can get something down for the rest of these? I just want to see, I want you to see how well you are doing. All right. So this is what I have. And again, there are different ways that you could say this. I said, for B, the product of X and Y. But you certainly could have said X times Y or X multiplied by Y. You didn't need to use that word product as long as you are using one of the words that means multiplication. D. In this case, D is being decreased by B cubed. You didn't need to use decrease. You could have used you could have said B cubed subtracted from D. You could have said D less B cubed. You could have said b cubed less than d, as long as with less than you switch the order, but any other of them you use it in order. And you could have also said, instead of b cubed, you could have said b to the power of 3. All right, E, there's a whole lot going on here. So it's 5 times this difference. So it's important that you're indicating that you're multiplying the difference. So you let the reader know that there needs to be parentheses. So it doesn't say 5 times u minus 10, because that would make the reader think that they're just multiplying the u by 5. So 5 times the difference of u and 10. And then after I do that, I need to increase it by h. So I put that comma in there to let the reader know I'm going to do all this first, and then I'm going to increase it by h. All right, F, quotient. Quotient, remember, means division, and it has to stay in order. So 3 is being divided by this sum. So you need to make sure that you have the 3 first. So you're not going to say the quotient of the sum of D and F and 3, because the 3 is on the top. It's in the numerator. So the quotient of 3 and the sum. Again, you're not going to say 3 divided by D and F, although I guess that one would be okay, but you're not going to make it sound like 3 is just being divided by D. Okay, so the quotient of 3 and the sum of D and F, or 3 divided by D plus F, that would be okay too. Okay, so these are examples. This is one of those things that you just really have to practice and think through it and then correct your mistakes along the way. So make sure you're using the answer key, but I don't necessarily want you to have every single word-for-word answer I have, because there are many different ways to write it. So if you have a question, if you're right or wrong, let's talk about it. Okay, we out.